Hello and welcome to Sonic Lab. We're very lucky today in the fact that we've had a bit of a look at the new Massive X from Native Instruments, which has been just recently announced in the last day or so. So Massive X is all new, looks like this. It's quite different from the original Massive. If I just close this down and open the original, you can see there's a huge change in the interface design. This is kind of the old Native Instruments look, and the new Native Instrument look is definitely very different. If I reopen that, I'm running this in live. I've got AU and VST versions of this. So Massive X it's been on the cards for quite some time, and I think it's similar. It's got this convergence between the kind of reactor world, where we know a lot of Native Instruments stuff is kind of written and designed in, and it starts to include some of that stuff in to the whole world that we're talking about. Particularly if we look at this routing, we can see we've got the ability to kind of route various aspects of the interface and audio and oscillators and whatnot to each other and to various different places. So it's actually quite powerful, a lot more powerful, I think. The other thing you're probably going to notice is that here we've got the 16 macros across the top, which are actually pretty cool. Like I say, I've only got this as a beta version, so I don't know how much of this is final. I mean, I was told it was very close, but there's a few things, because I wanted to play you through a few presets. If I just throw this up here, and let's just try. Does it have that bass? Because the thing about Massive is it had this enormous bass. So maybe if I go to some bass sounds, and we'll just see what we can find here. So yeah, I mean, I would say the thing about a lot of the Native Instruments things, it sort of feels like it's record ready. You know, the Massive had this huge bottom end. It was really became huge through the sort of drum and bass era and sort of wub and Skrillex and all that kind of stuff. One thing I will say is there doesn't seem to be any preset favoriting system in this, so it's very hard for me to take, you know, this enormous amount of presets. If I go to all of them, there are pages and pages of them, and probably going to be more with the final release version. And I can't favourite them, so I'm going to have to be sort of floundering about a little bit. I mean, it's categorised and whatnot, but I'm not sure how finished this whole kind of patch browsing and patch naming system. I mean, I guess also it's probably designed to work with complete control. I've got complete control here, but it's not currently mapped or not currently working with Massive X. Massive X hasn't been sort of brought into the fold, so I can't use that keyboard. So I'm a bit kind of mouse-driven at the moment. So let's have a look at the interface here. At the heart of it, we got these two dual wavetable oscillators, and they have an enormous amount of source material to work with. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of this, but I mean, there's just tons of it. And not only that, we've also got wave shaping, loads of different kind of modifiers as well. I mean, it really is just an option paralysis almost. There's just so much to go through. One of the big things that I really like about this, I'll go to mod switches. One of the things I really like about this is this mod switching system. So if I come to here, put my little face, you see down the bottom of the screen, and particularly actually if I go to here, take it an octave down, you can see that what I'm doing is I'm sort of changing these presets, if I get my head out of the way, from the MIDI in, and it's sort of like a key switching thing on this bottom octave. And basically, if I come out of the sounds and we go to the modifiers, essentially we've got these kind of like sequences that are running at different rates and different shapes. We can draw all of this stuff in, and that is currently routed to the frequency of the Asimov filter, which is what I'm using here. Again, we've got all of these filter types, all of these filter modes. I mean, there's just a ton of this stuff. And you can see also we've got macros modified here, which actually do move the knobs. But if I go back to my switch, right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play. I go to That's what I'm switching this manually at the moment, but I can do this with keys. And it's really powerful because, bear in mind, we've got 3 of these, I don't know what they call them, but they're very, very powerful. And just the whole thing that you can do with tempo syncing and rating, some really good modulation possibilities there. And it's quite an interesting, it feels like it's something new to me. I haven't seen this before. Another thing I wanted to throw up here, let's have a look. We've got this, I made this noise. I really like the sound of the noise oscillators. So if I take that down here and I just press, and I'll be able to... So what I've got going on with this is we've got all these kinds of noise. I've got streams, which is like a music thing, and I've got this sort of valve sound, and I'm modulating that guy with LFO 4, and you see we've got these 2 LFOs and a random LFO, and you just do this by dragging, if you see what I mean. I've also got a really unusual... I'm going to leave that there, actually. I've also got it modulating the frequency, which is this, whatever this is called, a Growian filter, and you get this really interesting sound. One thing I will say is we're not seeing any indicators on this. And so, if we go back to the main screen, there's no indicator on the rate on the LFO. There's no indicator of how much of this is modulating that, because on some synths you get this kind of movement, so you can see it. I guess maybe that's to do with the fact that there are so many possibilities. It could get very busy very quickly, but it'd be nice to have the option because you can't really see what's going on. The same with the envelopes. You've got these lovely graphics here. And if I adjust, so these envelopes are amazing. They're basically A, H, D, H, R with shape and sustain. So I guess the curves, the velocity, but there's no visual representation of what's going on in the envelope. It's a bit like a kind of a DX7 panel where it just shows you what the shape of the envelope is. And that actually makes it a little bit harder to program, because looking at the synth straight away, you're not really very clear as to what's going on. Same with and the macros are the only difference. So if I move these macros, you can see that I'm actually able to, it's moving the physical control. So you can see that modulation. Anyway, this is the dual wave table. So I've got some very simple wave here, but it's just... very interesting sound, these noises. Very... And I'm adding bit crushing into this to even more sort of mess around with it. And that takes us up to this additional section, which is we've got these A, B, and C. And these are sort of like insert effects or processors, utilities, fold. There's just so much of this stuff. It's really, really dense. And like I say, when we look at the actual routing capabilities, if I get my head out of the way, we're starting to look a little bit like Reactor sort of world, isn't it? It's, the fact that we can take these things and we can route them into various different places. I can't even begin to tell you how complex this is. I've only had a very limited amount of time with this, so it's going to be a very much of an aerial view. But maybe we should take a look at some more presets. So let's have a look. We'll go bowed strings. Why not? Again, I'm having to mouse this quite a lot, so... That's actually quite authentic sounding, like samples. Let's have a look. Bright super strings. Let's have a look. Maybe we should look at some more basses, because that's what Massive X is really, is really known for. Oh yeah. Yeah, nice, really sort of thick quality to it. So they've obviously taken a lot of time over the sound of this, because as we know, a Massive is quite it's a synth that people get quite evangelical about, and really they want it to sound right, I'm guessing. Let's have a look. Garage Bonk. See what that sounds like. Let me see. Let's have a look at some pads. There must be some pads in here. Sweep and swell. Let's have a look. Oh, soundscapes. Oh, let's have a look at what's going on with this. This looks very complicated. interesting sound. I'm guessing there's probably going to be more presets coming along with this. And the built-in effects actually make a really big difference. So we've got all 3 XYZ effects, and you can see all of the different potential effects that we can run in there, and that's per patch, and they do sound really nice. Oh yeah, very dreamy. Let's have a look. I'm really flipping around it because, like I said, I haven't been able to favourite this stuff, and they're not numbered. So interesting. So you see with the wavetables of this really complex harmonic sounds going on here. Let's try Sunken Ship. Yeah, there's this sort of, I mean, there's this aspect of kind of one-finger soundtrack kind of stuff that is so often the case with modern synthesizers. Let's try some other sections. Impact. Oh, what's that? I imagine it's going to go bang. Again, masses of bottom end. Nice use of the release envelope there. I quite like these. These are quite nice, aren't they? Dxe Multi-Track. Oh, what's this? This is going to probably have some quite complicated stuff going on. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got these different sort of timed envelopes. Let's see what the routing is of this. So we're using these guys at the bottom. To change. Let's have a look. So we've got different shapes here. Some quite complex. Oh wow, I don't know what those are doing. Let's have a look at some more of these. This looks like it could be a Richard Devine patch, which I'm guessing is going to mean. Yeah, that sounds glitchy enough to be Richard. Let's try a couple more. Shroom Gathering. I wonder what that could be. So let's have a look at some of these piano-y things. I mean, I know that this is probably not what you're going to be expecting from Massive X, but let's just take a listen to see what the... kind of synthesized whirly. With some lovely effects in there. What have we got going on there? That's the verb. And there's lots of different potentials there. So I like this a lot. This sounds lovely. I mean, yeah, it is all effects, I suppose. Let's have a look at something else. Buried Giant. What could that possibly be? Yeah, some nice stuff there. Oh, this sounds nice. Let me mess around with some of these macros now. I could just picture the travel show this one's written for. This will be the scene, dawn on the Caribbean beach in my flip-flops. I don't know, maybe not. Zephyr, let's see what this sounds like. It sounds to me like the effects have been given quite a lot more TLC, so it sounds a lot more expensive. Those reverbs are lovely. Soundscapes. Let me see what's going on here. It's quite hard to tell. There's lots of macro mappings. Maybe I'll mess with some of the macro. Yeah, very dreamy. I feel like I'm maybe listening to a relaxation tape there. Guitar. This might be a little bit cheesy, but let's see what it can do. Reminding me of an old DX7 jazz preset there. Let's see. Inevitable lead guitar. Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to be. Blip and blop. Blop stop. Let's see what that does. That's interesting. Looks like there's some sort of modulation from envelope 1. Let's have a look. Envelope 1, which is really hard. I wish I could see what the shape is, because looking at those knobs, that's not really giving me much of an indication of what I need to see to figure out what's going on. So what you're going to end up doing there is kind of adjusting it and then not realizing where it was. So I'm not so sure about that. I still feel that that's possibly... We need some more visual feedback, please. Okay, let's try another preset. Synth pads. Quiet, but very nice. Let's just flip through some of these. Something a bit more traditional. you might be able to see if I just press, you can see there are these little indicators. It's probably a bit small at the top here, where you can drag aftertouch and pitch bend and sort of to the various parameters as well. And if you see, there's an indicator, the aftertouch. I don't know where the aftertouch is going because I can't actually see. So where, again, I think we need a bit more visual GUI kind of feedback, because I don't know how these patches are constructed. So it's the sort of thing that would be quite hard for you to disentangle, I suppose. This is some pressure that's introducing that amplitude mod. This is all getting into very sort of Zimmer territory. Very unusual. This is the state variable filter model. Oh, that's a lovely flanger, isn't it? Nice. There we go. This is a bit more like a bit of John Carpenter. So lots of fun there, really. I mean, I think it does actually sound pretty good. I mean, I think, like I say, I would like to see a little bit more indication of what the hell's going on, because it's so complicated, this synthesizer, which is great for the sound design. I mean, all of these kind of potential shapes and what we can get to, you know, this stuff. It's just amazing. What is that doing? That's interesting. Oh, that's nice. I mean, there's loads and loads and loads of potential here. And I think they've done a good job, because it certainly sounds great. And I really like the sound. And you can see here, we've got the Monarch filter. There's just so much interchangeability. There's almost too much. But I think from the very beginning, it was designed to be kind of like a super synth, even more than Massive already was. The Massive X thing is a completely separate entity now. I mean, it's not actually replacing Massive. It's just a new thing, which is X, which I guess X marks the spot. So literally, while I've been shooting this, the Native Instruments press release has come out 48 minutes ago saying that Massive X is out. We've got all the usual blurb and whatnot, and it says, let me see, pricing availability is probably what we want to do. It's available from the Native Instruments website for €199 or US dollars. You can upgrade for $149 from Massive, and the X is also included in Complete 12, Complete 12 Ultimate, and Complete 12 Ultimate Collector's Edition. I guess we can have some more information if we click here. Let's have a look, see what that takes us to. It takes us to a 404 page not found. That's just how hot it is. So presumably by the time you get to watch this, that will be there. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.